Royalties of peace, turning the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking on to perfect peace. How are we all doing today? Yes, it is Wednesday, my water day. Do I have this refreshing to bring to us? A worthy refreshment, like usual. Hopefully, we are pondering on the refreshing for it to be an everlasting water. Let it be a living water all through so you never get thirsty again. We come from a world of thirst, always looking for something, always looking for something missing. I tell you the truth. Some go to school forever and ever, even before they part this world, are still in search for something missing. There is never, ever completion of self. Even the one who says, I'm fulfilled, always know there is something that I wasn't able to fulfill. Maybe because I am human and not spiritual. Maybe because I'm human and I'm limited. Maybe because I'm not the wind. Maybe I could achieve this if I was like the air, able to fill the space, never knowing the end or the starting of air. Air, but the same air we breathe, the same air everywhere we go is the same air. The same air. Royalties of peace, turning the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking on to perfect peace. Today is June 14 of 2023. Yes, Monday is Juneteenth, right? Today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? So Monday is going to be Juneteenth. Wow. I hope we're going to have a good video that day. Understanding Juneteenth is all about freeing ourselves from slavery. When you're black, it's the mind of a battlefield, not even the race, not even the color of the skin. That when you look really detailedly at what is black, is the mind with a battlefield, like slave in search for an answer, always thirsty for knowledge greater. The higher you go, the more you want to find, the more there is always something you get even more indulged in searching. You become addicted to searching of the knowledge you are already. And you ask yourself, but why am I still searching? Because there are others who are still looking short. That even after fulfilling of self, some are still short of being able to fulfill, like you are looking for other means that they can be able to work with to fulfill themselves. When you're able to stand and someone else not able to stand, telling you, oh, my foot hurts. I need rehab before I can stand like you. Looking for other means to enable everyone to stand. It's not because you're not yet stable, but others not stable is like you still not stable. When you are so beautiful and yet your mirror is broken, how do you take a look at yourself in the mirror? How are you sure of the good looking that you are if all the pieces of the mirror are not of expected? You need a clear mirror to be able to view yourself, to confirm the beauty that you are, which is why you go about searching, even not only for self, but for others, such that the fulfillment of others is your fulfillment. We all like pieces of the ocean, all like pieces of water, must be even without experiencing ripples of any side of this beauty that we are of air, battlefield free, invisible. Yes, our last video we were talking about matrimonial, the union between two, the union of a divided back to one. Not only of two have we known of polygamy. Interestingly, we have polyandry after knowing polygamy. We know polygamy is all about a man marrying many wives. Polyandry of a woman marrying many men, contradicting to that of the polygamy. Are we questioning of which is which? We need just one to be able to hold on to. Women ask why only men can marry many women. Women can also marry many men. After all, it's a woman that brings the man to the world. A man should be submissive to the man, to the woman. But the man is, no, I'm the head. I'm the one with more strength. I'm able to do things that you cannot do. Woman. Is it because the woman cannot really do what the man can do? Man has strength because the woman is weak. Why is the woman weak? She has much more to work upon. She's more asymptomatic than the man is of keeping the world. She bears more children. More of like, I can keep the world. More of I can sustain in this complicated state. Even if you have all the abilities to sustain in this physical state. Of sight, you will not be able. Because others not being able to sustain will make you feel weak. Will make you be able to see your diagnosis in the eyes of others or of the sight of others. A crying woman and a strong woman. Only an awareness of I'm weak. Why am I divided? When you say a woman doesn't cry and you see a woman crying, how do you stand for yourself? How do you stand for your right? You must be able to recover from this complicated state. We must be able to enable the awareness of the diagnosis, no matter how strong we are, no matter how complete we feel we are. Having another drop of water looking like a ripple is questionable. We must be able to be in a place where all is even, of battlefield free, with some say, how is that even possible? Amazingly, there is no human who lasts here forever. We all age. We all age out. You must not get into the complicated graves when the flesh is already grave enough. The flesh gives way. The orishas testify. The deities testify. Which way will you prefer to go, if not of a better, of vanishing, rather than entering the ground and giving the worms and the maggots a reason to regret? No one wants to hurt another. No one wants to hurt another. After bringing children on earth, with all the complications, you begin to wonder, why will your treasures be in a place of so rusty and dusty? You ask yourself, what was I thinking? I was so in love. I was so in love. I wanted to have my own family. When family is love, what is that to us, if not an awareness of diagnosis? Should be seeking wellness. Of why are we divided? A healthy wound is a wound healing, not a wound with necrosis. Yes, it's time for us to get well. Healing is the healthy wound. A good wound is a wound healing, not a wound stagnant. Must we recover from this division and broken of selves back to wellness? Matrimonial, a very beautiful enabling. Do we mostly understand it's all about sexual relationship? Sexual in the sense of bringing down another that looks like you, only signifying loneliness, incompletion. It feels like you're bringing down one to take care of, but rather you are seeking for one who will take care of you when you age. When we sit and think again why we are having children, it's not about we taking care of the children. If it was about taking care of the children at the age of 21, you will not tell them it's time for you to get out. We need to really sit and reflect again why we are having children. Why do we get exhausted? Why can we not keep them in the womb that is warm and more safer than the world? Even when you say the child wants to get out, the child is tired of being in the womb, the child cannot contain being in the womb anymore. Yourself, you are exhausted, unable to keep the child for more than 10 months. There is always an exhaustion that we feel while in this realm of complicated. There's always a place of exhaustion that even when the child has left your house at the age of 21, by the age of 80, you start wanting the child to visit you again. Do not even worry about the times that they come by after 21 when you want to see them for a little bit. They visit you for a short time. When you turn 80, you have no choice. Even if you say, you don't have to come. That is not true. That is not true. That is not true. You know very well that what you're saying is contrary to what it is all over your face written. You need someone. You need someone. Even when you say, no, don't worry about coming by. Just have fun and live your life and let me just be. You know it's not true. Because you're aging and you're shaking. You're not stable. All written all over you. A diagnosis of I cannot be alone. I need help. When you feel youthful, like you don't need help, it's only an asymptomatic. Do not feel eager to bring another one down, thinking you are able to take care of them. Think about it. Think about it, royalties of peace, turning the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking unto perfect peace. When we're done with graduation, having the wisdom to travel this world with wealth, living in that mansion, that glass house, having all that you need. What next? Feeling alone? Feeling alone? You need a friend, but you want one that you can go to some legal office and make an agreement to live forever with. You need someone you can take an oath with because you don't want the in and out of a relationship. Did I get to learn? We know about the open relationship called polyamory. The polyamory relationship. A very confusing relationship. Having several sexual partners, of all of them aware of each other, aware of our diagnosis, and we together. It's the same thing of diverse company, a company of diversity, a company that agrees to have people of diverse cultures. It's like fun, but the diagnosis that we all bear of each other, it's very, very painful. That's where the struggle is. And that's what we experience today of looking like ice. Instead of raindrops, it's like rail. Like hail. I said rail. I like hail. Instead of raindrops, we are like hail. The little pieces of ice falling down. You can actually pick them out, coming down, and same time when they're down, you can pick them out separately. Of the rain, when it drops down, you cannot tell the difference when it's down because they fuse back to one, an asymptomatic diagnosis. Much more, a rain is like hail that comes down. You can tell when it's falling that they are all pieces. And when they drop down, you still see them pieces. It's time for us to reorientate on all this matrimonial relationship that we have when it has to do with sex. You will say when you go to school, you don't talk about sex. It's all about trying to train you how to work. What is sex is what school is asking us. From the day you enter daycare, from the day you're nursing on your mother's lap, the question is, what is sex? Sucking on your mother's breast, to eating food, to talking to someone. All our lives, we've been pondering on a question not asked, but of action given to us to get to the place of saying the word. When someone gives you the action and you're trying to figure out what they're saying, what they're acting, and then you call different words. And finally, when you call the right word and they say, there you go, that's what I'm trying to act like. When you see someone acting like a lion and they just like figure it out and you go, tiger, no. When you go, cheetah, no. Lion, that's what it is. Exactly. Someone acts like a dog, cat, rabbit, dog, yeah, that's what it is. All through, you say, don't tell the child, don't tell the child. It's all about sex. And how we define sex is so complicated. And that's why they don't want to tell children, of which it is supposed to be told from the first day that you come into this world. It's supposed to be sung on your head all through until you get to your place of completion. It is not it is not a challenge. It is practice until you know it. It is not a challenge. How did this become a challenge? It is of how complicated it turned out. Sex is speaking to someone's ear. The ear is the vagina, and the mouth speaking out the word is the penis. Opposite sex, working with the shadow to get to the reality, like water to the clouds, is the concrete to the abstract. The concrete is the shadow. You must work with it of expected. I hope someone is listening to me. I hope someone is hearing this language more of like a dummy interpretation of life. If you've gone to the bookstore, you must have seen the books which are called the dummy of the dummy books, right? The dummy, this history for the dummies, physics for the dummies. This is healthy expression for the dummies. When the dummies are only the deceived or those put on board with a blindfold to reach at the end and they ask you, what did you just cross? The water or the sky? And you're trying to figure out, I felt water. Was it from the sky? The sky rains. Which one was it? I felt water. You try to put all together to express what you've just gone through, and what you say is if you say what is right, and they give you the picture and you've passed, you get yourself so happy. If you didn't get it, and then you feel like, oh wow, I can't believe I thought that was instead the sky, so it was the water. What is sex? Sex is speaking and hearing. What goes into your ear should be healthy. Our getting together to find trust is to, at the end, come out with mind battlefield free, is the trust. We haven't found yet until we get the solution is the trust. We are on the way to find it. You call it to yourself like you've gotten it. It's the strength that you need to walk with, to the expected. Free yourself from mental slavery. You must be able to define sex of expected so you can free yourself from mental slavery. So you can be able to embrace the children very young of age. We need to see a healthy generation of the young than we have ever lived. You cannot use the word sex before a child because there's guilt. It's not like it's a treasure. We are the buried treasures. The man with the battlefield, the one with the blindfold is the treasure. The test is what you feel all through. You will say, but you cannot hide it. You must be able to know what is right, to be able to know what they'll have to find, of what they're going through of a journey. Explain to them what is sex so they can differentiate between the two. When they make a mistake, they'll be able to know. They have to know the truth that they are. Bury me in the waves and not in the ground, for I am your living breath. You can call me your clouds if you really have to see me. If you have to see me, take a good look at the clouds. If you want to feel me, breathe me in. I am clean air. Matrimonial wedlock. It comes with rights and obligations, an oath, because we all trust not each other yet, but heading to trust. Must call the trust unto self. When you tell somebody, I trust you, does not mean you trust them, but you are hoping that you will trust them at the end. Many of us have fallen prey of telling each other, I trust you, thinking we already found the trust. That when they disappoint us, we feel like they have hurt us, like they have been wicked to us, like they have betrayed us. But rather we failed to understand what it means to trust someone when we are on the journey to trust. We are only trying to encourage them to be trusted. That when they fail, you give them more chances. They say you have to forgive forever. But the more you give them chances, the more you have to remind them that it is on them. Because at the end, they'll be able to see their paper of so many failures. Whenever a chance is given, make sure you make good use of it. Do not let your chance fail. Do not take it for granted, the chance is given to you. Marriages. You marry today, tomorrow you divorce. I tell you the truth, when you divorce, it's better you marry yourself. When you marry another, you're only setting yourself for another marriage. If you think trust is found in someone, then you are not fit for marriage. Of the expected. Complicated. If you haven't known how to marry yourself, knowing that you're the mind, married to the flesh, your wife. Your body is your wife, and you are the mind. Right from the womb, from the day of conception, you started having sex with yourself. The multiplying of self to greater knowledge is your multiplying. The child growing up is the many child you have. Of every new stage, a new challenge. From the steps you take to walk, to the running, to the driving, to the knowledge acquired, a new child found of every endeavor and achievement. You find another new child to fulfill, to expect it. It's time to really, when they say get the bull by its horn, it's get the man by his mind. When they tell a woman, think like a man. When you act like when you are a woman, when you act like a woman, you have to think like a man. We must be able to think like a man. That even men are told to think like a man, because some men think like women. When we are all trying to think like a man, you can't be going backward. With the women remind their men so that they can be able to get to be a man. The man is the mind of battlefield free we must be. Ceasing from this falling apart of division, the more complicated. Like a woman, the more she divides, the more complicated she becomes, unable to even not to take care of the man that she took in. When your flesh is my flesh and my flesh your flesh, we have to be able to walk of expected. Must you have practiced how to walk with your flesh first? So whatever I'm doing with your flesh, you're able to correct me because you are the teacher. Because you know the flesh already that you have. You're the one to teach the other how to walk with your flesh, and the other teach you how to walk with your flesh. That if someone is short of how to walk with their flesh is all one. We must always get to the place where we all are equally happy of how we treat each other's flesh, knowing that the ripple must give way. And if the ripple is giving way, therefore the drops of the ocean are evaporating, not falling back. Because when they evaporate and fall back, we keep on having ripples because they keep falling back. Must they all advance up to wellness, never falling back? When living bread is my toxic drug because of my stupor, the unconscious state called flesh, like dead, so stiff to freely move, yet unbearable to give up on breathing, though knowing I must become the air, my most flexible and free state. When we are addicted to the living bread we're supposed to become, it's because we are taking it in a complicated state. Why the Holy Grail upside down? No matter how much you feel it will never be full. It's not because you're not pouring the juice. It's because the cup is upside down. The longer you keep on taking the breath, you're never satisfied. You must be able to reverse to expect it to be satisfied. Is someone listening to me that when you're able to understand that of your body, you know how to approach another in the name of I'm getting married. The word lock. When you lock yourself, how do you undo the lock? Such that in Africa, we have what we call knock door. Before you get married to your wife, you must knock the door. They say knock door. I'm going to make my wife's knock door. How do you knock a door that is open? You can never knock an open door. Such that when you knock an open door, then you are not ready for the marriage. You must be able to lock the door and then knock on it. How do you knock at an open door? When they emphasize you must marry first, you must come and get married to your wife. You cannot stay with your wife without coming to the house and get married to the wife because the door is still locked. How are you seeing the woman? My brothers, think like a man because the women are ready to think like a man. Menopause has its reason. There's a reason why we have menopause. It's time to help our brothers, yet with respect. When a woman wants to approach a man, the woman should remember that the flesh can never bypass the mind. Like the back tires of the car can never overtake the front tires. We must be able to know how we approach the men who are falling short, want to think like a woman. We should remember we are the reason why the men are even here. Because we want to have children. Yet the men are always lesser than the women. The woman is the one with the wound. But yet the wound is the man's wound. If you say you're the woman, the wound that has to heal, then heal right. Do not become necrosis. It's time for us to help the wounds of the man heal. We are the wound of the man. If they say the woman is from a man's rib, it's like a heart out of the chest. Like the penis is to the testes. Or the scrotum. Must you be able to put the heart into the chest before you can close the wound. The woman looking like the heart already into the chest. Now is to close the wound. Must the man's wound heal? If the man's wound is not healing, it means that the heart is still out of the chest, like what you see of a man. It's time to address the privacy part with respect and holiness. Our holy of holies, our private parts must be able to be expressed or expected. Yes, Royalties of Peace turning the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking on to perfect peace. It is raining right now. I'm so glad. It's my water day. The raining reminding us of coming out from above, like the heart out of the chest must evaporate. A reminder of what are we still doing down here. If we are ascending, we should ascend, not descending. Matrimonial. Matrimonial is worthy, but must fulfill its expectation. The wedlock. The wedlock. You are locking. You knock when you're out there. The knock door is out there, not in here. Divided, how do we knock the doors? How do we knock the doors? There's only one door. Too many knock doors. We are trying to learn to become trust. Calling each other trust. Marrying someone, calling them trust. Marrying someone, telling them you're reliable. Is to encourage them to become reliable. Do not think that they are already reliable. Be careful how you get locked in with each other before you get bruised. It's time for us to really reflect. We all are married. All of us humans, we are a human matrimonial relationship, open relationship. We are experiencing what we call the polyamorous relationship. An open relationship. There is no way we can hide from each other. We come out and meet each other every day. There's no way you can stay indoors forever. You feel like you're abandoned. You feel lonely. Even if it's to go and see people out and standing, it's even enough to some people. It's just to go and sit somewhere and see others doing the activities is enough of being married. Must we learn how to get married to our body, flesh, the wife, by nurturing and caring. Practice of the flesh if expected. When you scratch yourself, it hurts. Will you be careful how you walk on others? Those who are able to scratch themselves and feel no pain. When they scratch another and they say, ouch, you will know how to scratch yourself, not too much. Such that you need not even scratch someone for them to say, ouch. But watching how they take care of themselves, or how lighter they take care of themselves, or how kind they are to themselves. You want to develop that for yourself too. The flesh needs to be pampered and taken care of. The flesh needs to reverse to the geisha state of locked up. Looking like an open door right now. How do we get married to the flesh? You will bruise the flesh if you want to get married to the flesh. must be able to pamper the flesh back until it's locked. How do you get married to your wife? By bringing out not only the blood you see of every month, but children. When blood becomes a human being, it's like gas becoming ice. Let's talk of liquid. It's gas. When you see liquid, the blood, you want it to return to get to the gaseous state, life, the living breath. I hope this gives us some thinking today. Juneteenth. Free your mind from slavery of trying to keep with the complicated instead of the expected. True living breath is worth it, but you are the living breath. And not trying to keep on sipping of the living breath like you are not the living breath. True thirst exists, but you're not the thirst. You're the living water you're seeking to be, not the little sips you take upside down. It's time to advance to wellness, battlefield free, the gaseous state. Let us live in harmony, reflecting of expected, helping each other reverse to expected of gaseous state worthy. Then we can knock at the door up there and we'll know how to be married without a battlefield, no division, but fused to one. Thank you for listening to the Royalties. Peace steals the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking unto perfect peace.